This is Late Night Politics on Star FM, taking an in-depth look at the Zimbabwean political scene.
It's a Monday and it's Late Night Politics, and tonight we go toe-to-toe with MDC-T National Spokesperson Obert Gutu. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, listeners. Good evening, George. Good evening, Senzo. Sisonge.
Yes. What is the state of preparedness of the party as elections loom? Is the party in a healthy condition to withstand the rigors of a tough campaign with ZANU-PF mainly, at least in the presidential race, buoyed by a resurgent Emerson Mnangagwa? ZANU-PF looks like it has a head start. Will the MDC-T and its alliance partners be able to pull the rug away from under the feet of ZANU-PF? Those are the questions that we'll be asking our special guest tonight, is MDC-T National Spokesperson Obert Gutu. And to help me with the grill of Obert Gutu, I've robbed in Starfm newsreader and journalist Uncle Senzo. Welcome to Late Night Politics, Uncle.
You're welcome.
Are you ready to grill Mr. Gutu?
You can call me Comrade Gutu.
Comrade Gutu.
Comrade Gutu.
Yeah, let's start the ball rolling now.
We want to start the ball rolling.
Yeah.
You are ready for him?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the presidential candidate issue for 2018. Who are you running with?
We are obviously running with none other than Morgan Richard Tsvangirai. And I'm actually happy that just over an hour ago, I had an opportunity to be able to speaking to somebody who was in Johannesburg with him, and I'm happy that God is graceful, God is merciful, and that our leader is on the mend. And I'm actually very excited to hear that because I just received a call from Johannesburg before I came to these studios, and let me assure the nation that the man is going to be back, and he remains our candidate. The people's choice.
You see, I think, most people say, look, let's respect for Mr. Tsvangirai for the track record that he has had in terms of really bringing vibrancy to Zimbabwe politics. But do you think that if, especially with ZANU-PF looking at July elections or earlier, he will be ready?
Oh, definitely you'll be ready, because the issue that you have to look at, George, is that today's political mobilization is not a one-man act. Morgan Tsvangirai is the face of democracy in Zimbabwe. I'm happy you can see that. He has brought a certain level of dynamism, that has never been brought by anybody in this country before, especially post-independent Zimbabwe. I'm happy that you can see that. But the MDC has always been a big political party. And the MDC has always worked as a collective. It's very, very different from the ZANU-PF, especially the ZANU-PF of yesteryear, under Mr. Robert Mugabe, where he was everything. He was ZANU, Mugabe was ZANU, and ZANU was Mugabe. And I noticed that it is the same thing that is playing around again. We have ED with ZANU, and ZANU is ED. Unlike that, in the MDC, we have always worked as a team. We have always worked as a collective. That gives us a very distinct advantage to any other political party in Zimbabwe, including the ruling party. Because what we do is we do everything as a team. We believe in Team MDC. We are a team. Arisiri Bora Remun one. It's not a one-man team. Never has it been a one-man team.
I agree with you to a certain extent that MDC works as a team. But why these splinter groups, if you have always worked as a team? Two secretary generals have left the party within a space of a decade. What exactly will be going on? And you guys will be going savechete. Is that not the other side of the flip side of the Mugabe Chete mantra?
No.
Let me add on.
You want to ask? Yes, okay, so that I can answer
for that, Uncle Senzo. The other issue is that sometimes we noticed it in ZANU-PF. People will just be saying Mugabe, Chete Mugabe. And they'd actually said he's the candidate at 94 years
for 2018.
It
was laughable.
And yet, deep in the hearts of the people, they wanted him to go. Is it not the same situation where you are going to
those are some Welshmen and Tendai Biti?
No. The good thing about me, look, I'm here wearing my hat as the national spokesperson of the MDC-T. So what I'm speaking here is the party position. I've absolutely no reason to articulate something that I know is lies, or what people are saying these days. They're talking of fake news. Fake news is just, I think, a diplomatic word for, or words for saying lies. I'm here to tell the nation the truth. And what I'm saying is the exact truth. Morgan Richard Tsvangirai is our candidate. So if there's anyone who thinks that they are other candidates, then look, I wish I had prophetic powers. Then I would go into people's minds and hearts and decipher what they'll be thinking or dreaming about. But look, for now, what we have is that the candidate is M.R. Tsvangirai from Humanikwa village.
The succession issue, it's always been a problem. ZANU-PF had an issue of succession, and it led to Comrade Mugabe being ousted. You guys, it's like we haven't learned anything about this succession issue. Why I say so? Already the ordinary person is saying, are you not sensing something? Are you not getting in the statement from the people who supposedly support you, or even people in the opposition? People are speculating. Are you not sensing something there?
Look, Ango Senzo, Conrad Senzo, people are always prone to speculation, especially with the advent of this new creature called social media. Social media has brought, I think, a new dimension to people's lives. Because a few years ago, maybe a decade or so ago, when social media was not there, you would not get the amount of and the level of speculation that we come across each time that I open my WhatsApp messages. And I'm in so many groups because people just happen to know my number. Each time that I go on Facebook, each time that I go on Twitter, sometimes I laugh on my own. People may think I'm getting crazy, I'm getting mad, because I just get so amused by the level of fake news and lies that circulates. I'm actually not surprised, because I believe this is what I want to call the downside of social media. Social media can be very speculative. People can just generate a rumor, a false rumor, and in less than 5 minutes, it has gone global. I mean, that happens very easily. So all we are saying is, when people talk of succession, where do you talk of succession where there's no need for succession? I mean, you might even say in your house, Daddy, if there is need for succession, what happens when you die? When you're still there, why should people even worry? Because they're there. So,
that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say there is no vacance when President Mugabe was there. There is no vacance. We are saying the same thing. That's why I'm saying your policies are almost the other side of the Mugabe era.
No, Ango Senzo, you know what, Ango Senzo? People want to equalize ZANU-PF, because with ZANU-PF, I don't know which ZANU you believe. To me, ZANU is in various shapes and the sizes. Because ZANU irikoma ZANU ni ila constantite. Kune G40 irungo shinyira iri paside. Saka andisuti munotaura ZANU ipi yacho.
Yakudhara yo yakuti hakuna vacance.
Hakuna vacance.
Vanhu votaura nesuccession mode hakuna vacance.
Look, the good thing about us, we can't even talk about Plan B, Comrade George. You know why? Because we've got a constitution. The beauty of it all is that we have got a constitution of the movement for democratic change. So it's not like a party yokuti munongotamba a game risina rules. Rokungoti amuziye kuti game rino last how long, and how many players play it, and where is the gate, who is the striker, who is the defender, who is cricket, who is the bowler, who is the batsman. All we are saying is we are a party that has got a constitution, and our constitution is our guiding document. Period.
For the benefit of our listeners, in case where Tsvangirai is incapacitated and it cannot run special Pagangon's early elections, Zinofamba say MDC.
No, it's maybe because of my own Christian upbringing. Tagango was very home church. My RC's Hitish and Zitachi Takakuriramo. We don't want to say suppose somebody is not there or he dies, because I believe it's contrary to my personal views.
Not dies,
I find it very uncomfortable to answer that kind of question.
Can sign on, it's a battle on its own.
Yeah, but that people have been treated of cancer. I'll give you the example. Madiba, Nelson Mandela. Do you know that Madiba had prostate cancer when he was an old man, but he got treated. You know that when he died, look, I don't know what he died of, but by the time he became the South African president, the president of the new South Africa in 1994, he had been cleared of cancer. But look, here is a man who had been sick with prostate cancer, but he got cured. There is this other old man in the United States of America. What's his name? who is now, I'm forgetting his name, Senator something.
McCain.
Yes, McCain. I was just reading about McCain, and they say he's on a tremendous recovery path. So really, it's not like a death sentence with today's medical technology.
Mafungiro anosiyana noti vaEd Cross mwe wenyu weku.
Oh yeah. Wakanzwa mudhara Cross achiti he's also undergoing treatment.
Vari kutreat.
But I can show you one thing about Ed Cross.
Zvaitaurawo vangati but maybe inguva yekuti tizorodzeke.
But I'll tell you one thing about Ed Cross, and I'm sure he's listening. Look, he's 77 years old, but he's one old man, and he doesn't mind me calling me an old man because Mudahara is an old man. I call him the only white in the Vele chief in Bulawayo, jokingly. He's 77, but his work rate, George, is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I've said very few people can put in a daily shift as long as Eddie Cross. He had 77. Look, you are speaking on his own behalf. I do not want to comment for what Edward Graham Cross was saying, because he was very clear. He's speaking in his personal capacity. And I think it's only fair that if you want to ask him, then you invite him to this, these studios, then he will articulate himself.
Okay. Yeah. Uncle Senzo, let me just remind our listeners, this is Late Night Politics, and tonight we are grilling Obert Gutu. He's the MDC-T national spokesperson. Yeah, I'm glad he has agreed kuti vamboiswa pa spotlight nhasi tichimbovabvunza. Hazvina kuplanwa kuti havazikuziva kuti mubvunzo ichabva nekupi, asi tiri kumboita keep him on his toes. Ndiri kubatsirwa muno mustudio na Uncle Senzo Mpofu. He's our Star FM news reader and journalist. Uncle Senzo, moda kumbopinda tipedzise muchine zvemubvunzo here panyaya dzesuccession.
You speak so fondly about the constitution. Where was this constitution when the party split? Because from what we hear and what we wrote as journalists was that there was disagreement about the participation in the senatorial
2005.
And then Morgan Tsvangirai took his jacket and walked off. Where was the constitution to restrain him after losing the vote in the national executive?
Uncle Senzo, the problem that I have now with that kind of question is we are locating ourselves almost like 12, 13 years backward.
Is there no
that's
potential?
not what Zimbabweans want to hear.
Okay. Is there no potential of the party facing the same scenario? Because the constitution has been violated in from the beginning when the party split. Are we not having a danger of this thing repeating itself in your party again? Because now Thokozani Kupe says she doesn't want this alliance thing in Bulawayo. She can do her own thing as MDC-T, and already patoita makakatano panapa atizooni here pachitwa same scenario yokuti hanzi constitution ngaisuspendwe munoita zvanodi.
No, Uncle Senzo, I like it because I'm laughing. You know why? Because you want me to maybe to assume powers that ordinarily I don't have. Those are the powers of clairvoyance or the powers of prophecy. How I wish I was a prophet. You'd call me Mazbaba Gutu, Prophet Gutu. Then maybe I'll be able to tell you what will happen tomorrow and the day after. Unfortunately, I will not be able to tell you, Guti, this will happen one or not.
But what I can tell you, diplomatic chessboard.
Yeah.
It's likely to be repeated.
But what I can tell you is that we are a united party. I talk to my leaders on a daily basis. I talk to Zuri, I talk to Chamisa, I talk to Kuname Demkupe, I talk to Monzora, I talk to Shibaya. I mean, name it. I don't know how many times a day I talk to these guys. So it's sometimes when I read stuff that is being written by you guys, we are journalists there, what you write and what you say on radio and what you write in the papers. I say to myself, are these guys staying in the same world with us?
But you haven't given us a clear answer. Why does Madame Coupe boycott a meeting eku Harvest House?
No, I think that's a very unfair question. I was on radio, George. I think it's you who interviewed me, and you said as well. About a week or less ago, I really said, look, Madame Coupe, I think last time she was attending, she was out of the country. I remember.
No, she was seen to Parliament later on in the day.
So it's very unfair for me then to say if she doesn't attend and she has given an apology, for me then to speculate as Obert Gutu because of ABC. I think it's not fair. What will be fair for you, comrades, is maybe to invite her or to give her a call. I'm sure she will kindly answer your question. Because for me then as Obert Gutu to start speculating, apology, I'm unable to attend this meeting maybe. I remember last time, because she actually phoned me and she was roaming. She was in Turkey in Istanbul. And obviously she couldn't be in Harare and in Zimbabwe at the same time, so she couldn't attend the meeting. A very perfect, legitimate excuse. So for these other questions they're asking me, I think it's only fair that you ask her. Because I'll end up speculating, which I don't want to do.
Since vanopiwa mashoko ekutaura nebato techiti pamwe munenge maudzwaka kuti zvakamira sei then
like I told you, George, the last time we had the very first meeting of the National Standing Committee for 2018, she was actually not available. She was not in Harare. Yeah. So I understand she had sent an apology. So for me then to know kuti nasi munatadza kuya meeting because the asapa apology, I think it's asking.
But coincidence manje kuti apa kupe anakuya love momoyo anakuya vari mu same camp yokuti hatisuda alliance zve alliance kuma table and votes. Don't you think it's fair for us to ask if there is something wrong in that arrangement? Avangarovi vese vachingonzi nasi love more nakupe havana kuya ivo vaine zvavo zvavo.
No, I can answer for love more. I think I was chatting to the chairperson I think a few days ago. He actually said he's actually grounded. His car is I think there's something wrong with he's actually immobilized. And he doesn't even stay in Bulawayo. He stays Matobo. He's in the village. So he says, Gutu, for me to even travel to Harare now, this na motkari. And we all know my hardships, because sometimes unangasna mari. And it's not a crime to fail to even to raise bus fare in Zimbabwe, because we all know the hardships that the majority of the people are facing. You can even fail to raise money for bus fare to travel from Matobo to Harare and back, because hakuna mari yacho. So these are very legitimate and I believe very honest excuses for one not to attend, because you're talking of somebody staying more than 500 kilometers from where we are.
But you haven't denied that Tendai Alliance, they are not very much for it.
No, I wouldn't know. Like I said, George, I wish I would be a prophet. Yes, but no one in the standing committee has said they are against the alliance. People have just said they want everything to be ironed out in a democratic way. Everyone agrees that the more the merrier. Fundamentally, we are all in agreement. In fact, I think when I was writing some opinion pieces a few years ago, I even wrote boldly to say that there is need for a strong alliance of opposition forces.
No, what
you have to do, there are a lot of what I would call hygiene issues. How do you distribute your seats? I'm talking of the 210 parliamentary constituencies. How do you distribute the 1,958 local authority seats countrywide? So you have to sit down and do what I would call a scenario analysis, or you might want to call it a due diligence. To say, for instance, if you are in Gutu Central, I'm just giving my home province as an example, my home constituents. Which party has got a bigger footprint on the ground? Is it MDC-T? Is it MDC by Wasmingwe? Is it ZIMPF by Mutambara? Is it MCD? Is it Sasom Zimbabwe? And it's easy. You know what? You just go to the structures. You say this is Gutu Central, and it has got maybe about 13 or so mawards. Then you can go word by word to assess the strength or weakness of each party. And that can be done. And that is going to be done.
Watchman watu wakanema sita wana Professor Watchman ngube wakatopiwa saka chicha sari mimi we are going to talk Harare East soon.
Oh George, I see you coming Harare East. Good evening Harare East. Okay.
Yeah. But when MDC under Professor Watchman ngube wakuto campaign wakutozama seats avo.
Let me make it very clear to Zimbabweans who are listening. Who are listening right now this Monday evening. The issue of seats is not cast in stone. If you read that alliance agreement, there's even provision some other parties could be joining us in the alliance before the elections. And of necessity, there will then be a need for a reconfiguration of the seats. It's not a straight jacket. So I mean, it's not a straight jacket. All we are saying is, if other parties join, which is most likely, of course, I'm not at liberty to say who is going to join or who is not going to, but you won't be surprised. Maybe in the next few days, you get a big announcement saying this party and that party or that party have joined. It's a big alliance. Then you have to sit down again and reconfigure the seats. That's why I'm saying it's not cast in stone. It's not a straight jacket. Yes.
Muda kupinda here ipapo panyaya yeseats because in point down there to MDC under Professor vakutoziva kwavari kucampaign.
All I'm saying is this. It's not cast in stone.
Okay, Chandi, Harare EAST.
You guys, you couldn't wait for Harare EAST.
Are you?
I'll say I'm a Democrat to the bone.
True, I can repeat. Not only to the bare bones.
So, from what I read and understood, nyaya iyi yokuti Obert Gutu says inini chatomira apa asi alliance rutanzi zichaita Tendai Biti. Amuona kuti patotanga friction here apa.
And the only friction iripo angosense. All we are saying we are a democratic party. When I say I'm a Democrat to the bare bones, I'm simply saying Obert Gutu is not going to ever impose on himself on anybody in any constituency. Not even in my home ward or home constituents of Gutu Central. Let the people choose. That's the very essence of democracy.
In other words,
the moment you are going to impose candidates in a constituency, that's a recipe for Boram Sango. That's a recipe for apathy. And ultimately, that's a recipe for a humiliating loss. Mazimbabweans achada izvo zvokumanikidzirwa kungonza George Musumba uyu ndiye candidate wedu kokana vasingamudi Obert Gutu ndiye candidate wedu kokana vasingandidi. So if the people say they don't want me and there's a democratic process where I'm democratically rejected, I will say, comrades, thank you very much. At least you have given me the chance, but you have rejected me democratically. We'll go with whoever Omnima chooses.
Are you insinuating that the coming in of Tendai Biti is not very democratic?
No, I don't want to insinuate on anything. I cannot talk of Tendai Biti because he's not a member of the MDC-T. He and Akapeka hate the MDC-T national spokesperson. I am only going to talk about my party. And in my party, we are going to say, even me impose on people, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, comrades, Musandi imposa. Let's go through a democratic process. If the people say yes, then I say yes. If the people say no, then I say, unfortunately, the Anshida Asichi, Maramba,
democratic process. Are you saying you are ready to try to even kind of a primary election?
Absolutely. Give us a primary. Give us a primary now, even in this studio, and see who's going to win.
Oh, Saka Murkuti, this is not a done and dusted issue yet.
Absolutely, yes. No one is going to be imposed on anyone. And at the end of the day, Harare EAST or any other constituents are going to choose. And I'm saying,
bullish. Have you done your homework?
Look, I'm always working. I breathe, eat, dream, eat Harare EAST. Yes.
Muchadiko kana we alliance wakati ndozvataya kuimpose.
We don't look, we are a democratic party. George, udondikira pamusoro petafura here nditaura kuti democracy inoti hatidiwa imposition. Hakuna imposition kuMDC.
Vagutu vangu vanenge vaita vasimbirira kuti handisi kubva kwaRharare EAST. Muda unoita Facebook vamukupe.
Teresa, I can't wait for Teresa. I want to give him a thrashing.
After that, munenge mambo contesta na mabiti kuma primary.
All we are saying is let the people speak.
Yeah,
all right. Through a democratic process.
That's fair. But is there buy-in to that idea?
Look, I don't know, but I believe that all the other comrades that I'm speaking about with in my party, they are very happy with that. To say, atidi mistake yokimboza because takanzi chakachenjedza ndo chakatanga. Takambozviona where in previous elections my candidates aitwa imboza.
Jena impose.
Ndungopa somfananidzo. I don't want to point in a kizi. But if you look at my voting patterns, pane a candidate I choose through a democratic process, you tend to perform better than pane kungonhonga munhu maybe asingatozikani area yamo kana asingadiwe. You tend to perform dismally. And I think the same even with ZANU-PF.
Dosaka, maybe 2013 must now perform to the best.
It could be one of the reasons, yes. But I think among us a plethora of other reasons, obviously, not excluding Nikuf. Not excluding Nikuf.
Uncle Sonzo, this is Late Night Politics, and we are grilling MDC-T National Spokesperson Obert Gutu, and we are glad that he agreed to just come through to the studio just to give us his thoughts on the state of the party, the MDC-T party, and other various political issues. issues. He has been coming and supporting late night politics, but tonight we just decided to also bring in Uncle Senzo Mpofu. He's with Star FM. He's a journalist. Garirane kokoko vagutu vari pakati pane panyaya dzemusangano panogona vamwe vari kuti MDC-T makutosumuka kana kuti kunyuka atinonzi mafaction munogona kuramba ndoziva kuti munogona kuda kuramba vamwe vanoti konei madam kupi vasingambosiyirwiwo chigaro panoenda futi vamwe kuamerica vachindomirira vadelegate vanombopiwa werewo maassignments right now we know kuti vamudzure ndo vari kutoacta sapresident. Why vari kusideline?
Because I understand of course when engineer honorable Elias Mzuri was made or rather appointed the acting president, to the best of my recollection, Madam Kupi was out of the country. And obviously, it was going to be very difficult to have somebody who is not in the country appointed an acting president. Look, even at state business, if the state president, travels out of Zimbabwe, he obviously has to appoint somebody who is in Zimbabwe to act as a president. You see, you can't have somebody who is out of the country at that point in time to act, because you can only act, the assumption being you are physically panzimbo yacho. That's my understanding of what happened. To answer your question, Madam Kupi was actually acting president for a very long period of time. I think before the Christmas break. You know that she's responsible for running the finance and administration department of the party. She's mandated to run that. Each of the three vice presidents has got their own, duties to attend to. And the mere fact that she was not appointed acting vice president, like I said, and I know because I talked to her when she was actually out of the country. I can tell you that she was in Turkey. And she could not have been appointed vice president when she was out of the country at that point in time. I think that's a very reasonable and very scientific explanation for that state of affairs.
My emerging factions are kunyukaya. ZANU-PF went through it.
And they were on denial for quite some time. And now you are denying that they are factions.
George. George. The problem is, you guys, you always want to equalize us.
Politics is
Zimbabwean politics.
Because Vamaru transfer ku image ya chamisa cobra huko. Then ponzi mimi na monzora muri kwa Madam Kupe, then pane yava mdzuro futi iri kunyuka futi. Zvakangodaro.
That's why I say when I read about these so-called factions, I laugh because I can't even be angry. What's to me, it's like a joke. Gutu ariku faction, that day ariku Kupe, that day ariku Kupe. When you look at me, why should I be factionalized? I'm one person. I'm speaking entirely about myself because my faction, I'm not wangu. Let me talk about myself. I mean, I'm fiercely independent-minded, and everyone who knows me well enough will tell you that. So the moment that people then start allocating me factions, I'm not even angry. I start laughing because to me it's a big joke to say. So sometimes you read in the paper and you read about this faction, that faction. But my faction now, are they existing in the newsrooms or here in the studios of the radio stations or in the newsrooms of the various newspapers in the country? Don't become a faction because he's so out there. I don't a faction. MDC atina faction. When people even debate or disagree on an issue, you cannot say that is a faction. If someone says no, seat distribution data die, matupo faction.
But I'm apana angling for because apana angling kuti out it a takeover. I mean, let's talk politics and real politics.
No,
it's a national spokesperson. Ramba, but these are issues as ZANU and zvakaregwa kusvikira zvatozoitwa operation restore gas kuti zvizoitwa nipped in the bud.
Imimi sevanhu vasina kana maovheta acho kuti intervene amene kuti muchaita sei because the reality iripo kana paita a possibility yokuti mukuru weparty haasi kunzwa zvakanaka vanhu by nature they will start, speculating, and others becoming ambitious kuti atogona kuti take over. Imwe kana muri denial ukuthi MDC kwatova nevanhu varuda kuangla for leadership. Apo muri kutaura muri kuspina zvenyu, but chokwadi riripo rekuti mafactions atovepo.
Let me answer that. I'll go back to what I said a few minutes ago. That will let me have prophetic powers, which unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, I don't have. It's very difficult. Because if somebody is seated there, muru meeting, maybe next time, how can I possibly know that? Supernatural powers and this.
But as a party, do you discuss these issues? Is ambition allowed in the MDC?
No, all we are saying is MDC we allowed robust democratic debate on any issues. Sakatakata meeting, especially my meetings, the leadership. We say whoever has got my issues or my views another could table on the table. Please articulate the issues. Not people not kufunga ta andikataura is maybe my comrade we are to my left or to my right anozo feel offended. If you feel good, you have got my issues that you want to raise, and you feel those issues are meant at the end of the day to build the party kuvaka msangano. Kanjiti kuvaka msangano ndinora kusimbisa msangano. Put them on the table, articulate them, and this we have done. That's why you find all our meetings we've got very robust debate. If even people are saying, let's agree or let's discuss on having this issue, what but guys, this sentence. No, sentence is unnecessary. Until you reach a common position. That is what we do. Very robust, frank debate, which I think is a healthy debate.
The international community has warmed up to Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, state president and leader of ZANU-PF. How do you feel as a party?
I mean, how do we feel about the international community warming up to President Mnangagwa? Look, all we are saying as Zimbabweans, we want a Zimbabwe that is not a pariah state. I think every Zimbabwean, whether you are MDC, whether you are ZANU, whether you are Ndu, or whatever party, ZANU Ndonga, or whatever, Zoom if it's still there, we all agree that we should be a country that is a part of the family of nations in the world. Because it doesn't mean that if we're in opposition, we want Zimbabwe to be viewed as a rogue state, as a pariah state. Why? It's wrong for us to adopt that view, because once we are viewed as a pariah state or as a rogue state, it also impacts on our economic development. And we are saying even as opposition, we don't want people to be hungry simply because it is in power. We don't want people to drive along or to travel by roads simply because it is in power. We don't want vana vechikoro kuti vadzingwe nokuti vabereki vatadza kubhadhara mafees kana kuti vatadza kutenga ma-school uniforms kana kuti vatadza kutenga mabooks nezvinhu zvakadaro. All we want is a Zimbabwe that is progressive, whoever is in power. So we are actually happy to have Zimbabwe reintegrated back into the family of nations. And as the MDC tatononokerwa actually kuti Zimbabwe haisati yadzokera ku-Commonwealth of Nations. I remember President Mnangagwa, I was there at the National Stadium when he gave his inauguration speech. He made it very clear that his government is going to take my steps to reintegrate Zimbabwe into the family committee of nations. And I remember I actually ululated and clapped my hands, because that's what we believe in as the MDC. Even if we are in the opposition, we want Zimbabwe to be a member, an active member for that matter, of the family of nations. And for the very reason that takabuda mu-Commonwealth of Nations simply because vamugabe vangoshatirwawo zvavo zveshungu zvehasha dzavo vakangotibudisa mu-Commonwealth. But when you look at it, we have actually lost a lot by not being a member of the Commonwealth. I'll give you an example. Commonwealth of Nations inopa vana ma-sports scholarships. Those girls and boys who are talented in sports, football, rugby, athletics, name it, basketball. They give another very academically talented scholarship. That's why you find even countries that are not British former colonies have actually applied to join the Commonwealth. I'll give you two specific examples. Mozambique is now a member of the Commonwealth, but we all know it's a former Portuguese colony, because vakaona kuti zvine advantage kuva a member of the Commonwealth of Nations. Cameroon, a former colony of France, actually also applied to join the Commonwealth of Nations because we're going to have advantages. So in a nutshell, all we are saying is if Zimbabwe is reintegrated back into the family of nations, the better. So I agree with President Mnangagwa. We do not just condemn for the sake of condemning. Ango sense, Comrade George. Chakanaka, chakashata. Chatine dambudziko na President Mnangagwa ndechekuti he says very sweet things, very nice little sweet things. As zvinozoitika on the ground, it's totally different. I'll give you an example. Ye media, because you guys are journalists, you are media practitioners. Right now, we when I say we, I'm talking of the opposition political parties, not only MDC, takawanda opposition political parties in Zimbabwe. I mean, not Mangani, maybe more than 100. But we are still being denied access to the state-owned print and particularly electronic media. We have absolutely no access to Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation television. We have absolutely no access to Zimbabwe Broadcasting, the 4 radio stations. I'll give you a practical example. Exactly 2 weeks ago, I phoned the news editor at ZBC, joked with him and said, my conditions for a free and fair election. He said, no, good, where are you? I said, I'm at my office. He said, fine, in the next 1 hour, I'll be dispatching my news crew. And Joshua, in 1 hour, the news crew was there in my office. A young reporter and a camera person. We had a very, very fascinating interview. Talking about the conditions, what we perceived should be the conditions for a free and fair election. And I was promised to say that evening, I remember it was a Wednesday, that Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock, news hour, we're going to be covered. And what happened? A few minutes before 8 o'clock, I get a call from the young reporter. His name is Andrew Jimenez. I'm Tendai Biti. The powers that be was what I interview as we talk to TV. Just like that. It has not been aired. I'm just giving you as an example of what is happening to say that doesn't cost money for President Mnangagwa to simply give a directive. Because most of the things people say, give him time. We understand there's no damaruga, there's some road. We understand there's no damaruga, there's some lights, we say kaondomoka street lights in both the the cities and the growth points. Shurugu, Gutu, Cholocho, Filabusi, etc. But Ajidemari, just to say to the powers that be as ZBC, please, the constitution of the country says all political parties should be given free and unfettered access to the public media. But that doesn't happen. So I'm saying President Mnangagwa talks very sweetly, but acts very roughly. I'm sorry to say.
You came out sometimes saying President Mnangagwa is actually stealing ideas from the MDC.
Yes.
In the event that he successfully steals them and implements them, where will you stand as a party? 1, 2, if the international community is warmed up to Comrade Mnangagwa, will this not hit hard on your pockets?
No, not at all, because we have always been a party that survives on the subscriptions of us, the members. And obviously what we get from the national treasury in terms of the political finance, the political parties in brackets finance, close bracket. We are a party that is homegrown. So we are saying as Zimbabweans, we are actually happy to see the president of the country literally taking all our policies, hook, line and sinker, and discarding his own party's policies. If zvataridza kuti vamunangagwa vakatoona kuti mapolisi MDC ndo anoita. We talk about rationalization of the indigenization laws. We talk about the reintegration of the country back into the international community, and we talk about auditing yeminda, because kuna mwana ane minda maprazi hobo asa asiri kushandiswa. And we also talk about de-rationalizing the land issue. Kuti kana mune murungu anogona kurima ari muZimbabwean, kana ndine munda wandakapiwa ndikadaita joint venture naye, hapana chakashata. Vamunangagwa vaiti ndikakuona ushanda nomurungu ndiri kutorera mupurazi. But I was very happy the other day when I heard Minister Parents Shiri on TV saying that as long as they are not breaching the laws of the country, if you're going to get a white person or a green person or a yellow person to do a project, a productive farmer, they are okay with it. That is exactly what the MDC has been saying.
Yes.
So we're actually happy that policies. The next thing is that join our MDC.
The program is Late Night Politics, and in the hot seat we have Obert Gutu, is the MDC-T national spokesperson. We are grilling him together with Senzo Mpo for tonight on Late Night Politics. Ipanyayo yema policies. I don't know how seriously you take these elections as the opposition. Kuti mamchitaura nyaya yekudistribute as an alliance kuti muchiri kuda kutsvaga way forward yekudistribute kuti masitsa achaenda apa neapa ndiani. Nyaya yemapolisi vamunangagwa vanenge vari kutoita mapolicies avari kuita ndeyekuti they are very pro people, ari kufadza vanhu. Se 2018 hamusati vane pamakamira kuti munenge muchiti nanga papi.
No, we already have a policy document. Very soon you'll be unfortunately I didn't bring it with me here, but I've got an email address. I'll actually give you a draft of our policy document. We're basically talking about the same old policies, fine-tuning them to suit the 2018 environment. We are talking of an MDC that says we want an economy, a mixed economy, an economy that will be rebooted to benefit both my entrepreneurial opportunities and my job opportunities. We are saying not everyone wants to be Pabasa. There are some people who are gifted as entrepreneurs. So, but if you don't create an environment, you need to stimulate their entrepreneurial abilities. They'll just get old and kushika vasina company avavura. Not kuti avadi, asi kuti the environment inenge isiri conducive. So we are saying as the MDC, we want an environment that will make sure kuti ma industry akavharwa. Muno mutiri industry area handiti. I remember kuti Harare changa kusvika Harare chibva reserve waingona kwakuna lines made kwakune caps vegadzara mapirits ipa Manchester Eden's Manchester Road and all that. There was activity 24/7. So all we are saying is let us have a situation that will reboot industry. We are an agro-based economy. Right now, I've been out there only a week ago. I was out there attending a funeral in the Midlands. I almost cried. I passed through a growth point in the Cha-Cha-Cha. The Cha-Cha-Cha that I knew when I was a young boy was a vibrant growth point. But when I passed through Cha-Cha-Cha last 7 days ago, I almost cried. It looked like a ghost town. Dilapidated buildings, everything falling apart, just showing that there is something wrong with the economy. Why don't you have a situation that will reboot your Cha-Cha-Chas, that will reboot your Murombedzi, reboot your Mpandawana, reboot your Bindura, reboot your Mount Darwin, reboot your Guruwe, so that you have a situation where people, it's an agro-based industry, and instead of having everyone wanting to come to Harare to be a vendor, right now on a Sunday afternoon, we noticed from Panutangira Robert Mugabe Road, Kukopiu, kusvika kwainoperera kuna 4th Street, yakalainiwa nema vendors. And when you look at those vendors, they are not old people like me, Tautos Madaras. They are young people, young boys and girls. Most of them highly educated, some with university degrees, some with master's degrees. But so all we are saying is that cannot be a normal kind of society. We want a society yokuti vanhu vanoda mabasa vanomawana. Vanoda create mabasa vachivhura macompany. Vanowana opportunities kuchita izvo. Because we know that Zimbabweans are very resourceful people. We have got a very highly sophisticated human resource skills base in this country and also in the Zimbabwean diaspora. So let us step into that. But right now we are actually surviving on poverty, if I may say that. Turukurama murombo, and it makes me very sad.
Ndafara pama mchitaura kuti makaenda kuma rural area kwakati, but we notice that in terms of leadership, especially ku MDC-T vazhinji munoda kurana, you are campaigning ma urban areas. We don't see anyone campaign achiti ndoda umbondorana ndiri kudotito kana kupi
romberengwa wese
Obert Gutu achitorana ku Harare EAST achisiya Gutu Central. Uzonoziva kuti zanu kuya inondirakasha. Say muchitizira ku
You know what? I could go to Gutu Central right now. The young man is going to be our candidate. He's a young man. His name I can actually disclose his name. He's Lloyd Mfuze. He's one of my proteges. I work very well with him. Each time I go home, and I go often, on a daily basis, I'm networking with him, helping him to campaign in Gutu Central. So we are saying Trukim Pawapana. He's a young boy. I think he's a Antina problem. That's why I say
my soft targets.
No, it's not soft target.
Why I'm saying these urban states are soft targets for MDC. Vanhu vaya vanoti hakuna mabasa, munhu ari mutaundi anoresponda saizvozvo. Mumwe anoti hanzi pension dzangu dzakanyura, mumwe anonzi zvakati, mune pamwe pamunogona kuti tinoshandisa kushandisa nuggets akat so that we win elections in urban areas. Kumaruzeva uko. Unaona leadership yes MDC chitsvaga kuno kumatown because
I don't think so, Angosenzo. You know what? Like I'm saying, for me, because I mean, most of the time I stay in Harare, but I've been practicing law in Harare since I was a young man. So all I'm saying is, although I have a rural home, so I also feel good. It's only fair good. Like example, because he's there in the rural areas. Doko Anogara is based there. We are supporting him. At least I am supporting him personally. So we are saying, look, why should I then just take advantage of Guti? Most of the time, because I believe a person should run for office. Quite honestly, I can't go now and say I'm going to run for office in Isaka North when I don't stay there. I believe, just like Joanita Europe here, if you're a member of parliament for Sheffield, what? I'm Sheffield, much more in England. Rather than I'm a member of parliament for Shurugwi South, but I stay in Greystone Park 99% of my time. I would rather have Anogara imo ari mushurugwi South ikoko ostenda because ndi anoziya ma issues elan women around amaki. And I think if we do our politics that way, we will develop. Not this issue good I'll run for MP for Makonde. Clients then Makonde Mangura. In Chigara cannot go Grindel most of my time. I don't think it's propaganda. I mean, that's my personal view. I really think we should change our politics.
But it's up for debate on that one. But also it also highlights if my leaders work at no downward gara ndichisimudzira nzvimbo yakati zvinoita kuti paite spotlight ikoko but not my leaders esanobva azara mutown because mabvuma kuuya kuzogrilwa. I'll give you a minute kuti mutiudze kuti why should Harare East vote for Obert Gutu?
Look, I've been saying Harare East for more than about 18 years now. I know the 3 words, what 8, what 9, what 46, like the back of my hand. You take me to Mavuku Tafara now, what 46. I know almost every other house, and I know who stays there, and I know I'm one of them. The good thing is, look, I've always said I'm a rural boy from Chavano, and I've nothing to hide. I'm a rural boy who came into town and Ndagenda University. But the good thing is, when I got there in Ward 46, I'll use Ward 46 because Dukoku so-called I'm not to get on it. The people who are the low-income group. That is where I'm home. There in Tafara, there in Mavuku. That is where I'm at home. Okay, you're Harare 8, you've got your Highlands, your Greystone Park, you've got your Ballantyne Park, you've got your Corn Valley, you've got your Greendale. I'm not really worried about those people. Those people are, fairly well off economically. I'm not too much worried about those people. I'm more worried about those people who Ward 46 Mavuku Tafara. Those people who kumkanda boots Ward 9. Those people who are staying in houses that are about to fall on their heads. And I believe that I know their concerns, and I believe that I'll be able to help them. When I was senator for Chisipiti and Harare East fell under Chisipiti, I did very good things for them. I made sure that Harare Mavuku Yanga is Nambura. I made sure that we drilled boreholes, and no one else has done that. We drilled boreholes. Ukaenda Tafara High School, chiborano choonona chiri pa entrance at Tafara High School. It's me who did that. Ukaenda kunozi kuma news stands near Mavuku Cemetery. There is a borehole that I drilled there because you know such those abantu. Yes.
Yeah, in terms of resources, mandanganiza nyaya yekuti my resources with MDC anenge they've dwindled significantly. Because dai mari yanga iripoda usingatorwi mafenja umunziva uendeswa kwati how resourced is MDC now as we go to elections?
Look, let me be honest, like any other organization, we obviously are facing our own financial challenges. Like I said, I'm here to tell the nation, to tell Zimbabweans the truth. But all I'm saying is, the mere fact that we don't have much money does not mean that we are unable to run a successful campaign. Because I think what you need in a campaign is just to be able to articulate the people's aspirations, views. Example here, Mavuku. Right now, Mavuku, there are areas that have not had municipal water for more than 10 years. And you're talking of a densely populated, high-density area. Avanamvura. The guys in Gunana Highlands, can ask Namvura municipality, what does he or she do? They'll just sing a boho. Or can ask now boho, they'll just register voter. Oh yes. In fact, when we did the voter registration, I made sure that
because anti constituency inenge yakati mati kune vari affluent because
it's a judge. That's a very good question. Harare East is a very I call it a very interesting mixed bag. Some of the richest people in Zimbabwe, if not in Africa, if not in the world, stay in Harare East. At the same time, some of the poorest people in Zimbabwe also stay in Harare East. It's a mixed bag. Ward 46 is basically a low-income ward. It has got part of Mavuku and Tafara. Near Pane, Yambonseko Cement, Yaguzilafaji. Yeah, that's a very poor community. So I would deliberately focus on that. I'll also focus on Kunuzumkadabutsu. Chikombo Nichiri Kumasasa Kunuzumkadabutsu. Most of those people, they are now widows. Because Varuma Wakafa Mboshandira, that tobacco company, Trans Tobacco. And most of those people are Mabasa. They don't even have money to buy food. You actually have to look at ways and means, but how are you going maybe to capacitate them? Maybe have that tobacco company reopened. Because this is a destitute community. Among the poorest communities, urban communities in Harare. That's Mkandabutsu. So all I'm saying is there's no use for me to concentrate my efforts on the rich guys who stay play the golf on Sunday afternoon or play golf on Wednesday afternoon.
But the numbers are too.
Because when you look at Ward 8, because Ward 8 is largely almost 100% suburban. It has got your Highlands, it has got your Ballantine Park, it has got your Corn Valley, it has got your Refontaine, it has got Raw Valley, and your Chisipiti, extremely affluent. Extremely affluent. Same applies to Ward 9. You've got your Grindel, you've got your Kamfinsa, you've got your Mandara. Extremely affluent. I'm not worried about the affluent guys. I want to Chengeta. Really, my focus is on those guys who need help. Yes. Your Mkandabutsu guys, your guys in Maputo Tafara. I think those are the guys we have to
come rain, come sunshine, Obert Gutu is running for Harare East. I'm
not going to force myself on the people. But at the same time, if they give me an opportunity to represent them, I will. Yes.
If the alliance says step down?
No, we believe in democracy. If democracy says step down, I'll step down. If democracy says stand, I will stand. But anything else that is not democratic, I will not accept.
It's gloves off, I can say it. Now, because if you are a party spokesperson, you are the spin doctor of the party, but it's gloves off. Obert Gutu will fight anyone who is going to come to Harare. Am I wrong or right?
No, fight democratically. No, fight democratically. No, not your physical fight.
Okay. Currently, Kuna Vamkupe, and he's now the deputy finance.
Oh, yes. I know Terence is there, and I don't know whether there's going to be the ZANU-PF candidate. I also know that my Ajanzi Yangu Mavis Gumbo was also interested. But we are saying, look, anyone who is interested, and I'm sure they are going through a primary election process.
Yeah.
So
we will.
In any Pantunongo Tower,
also your head, and Wamkupe or whoever.
The good thing about me, I'm confident. I'm confident. He's also Takateta Sirani planning Edu, Takashanda, we are Shanda Navan.
But we are grilling Obert Gutu, the MDC-T national spokesperson, and to help me, I have a sense on Pof with a journalist with Starfm. Uncle, Toinda Papi Manjita.
Malo turnout, Epworth turnout, it was not the usual MDC turnout, Epworth. And then if you look at Makokoba, ZANU-PF Chingadube, it was not the usual turnout here, ZANU-PF, but there were a huge number of people who turned out. What are you making?
You mean who turned out in Makokoba? In what?
People who turned out for ZANU-PF.
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
In a normally stronghold.
MDC. Then if you look at Epworth.
Pakaito by-election, are you saying?
Manje Pakaita party Gungano Ragaita Makokoba manje. Okay. And then if you look at your recent meeting, Alliance Epworth, Pampane turnout. Does it mean Vanu the Epworth are not buying in Havana buy in Remnya Alliance cannot MDC teacher cannot Maguruza support?
I don't think we're losing support. It's a pity. I really would have wanted to go to Epworth, but that's when I had to travel, unfortunately, out of the city for a funeral to Shurugi out there in the Midlands. So I'm not too sure about the numbers, but I've seen the videos, I've seen the pictures that were taken. I don't think it was a bad, especially when you know the Epworth that I know. Epworth is a very interesting mix. Epworth to me is like almost like your Harare South. It's peri-urban. Epworth kunenge kumusha like kunenge put town. It's that's why it's peri-urban. And most of the people in Epworth, they are also prone to intimidation. You find ukati we are meeting openly. They ordinarily do not come out because of the usual fear, the fear factor. Because it was one of the areas, especially by 2008. That violent presidential election runoff, Epworth was bad news. Epworth was really bad news. Epworth and Harare North, part of Harare North, especially Heathcliff, if you know Heathcliff. It was very bad because they're like, peri-urban areas. So the Epworth that I know is people there, they love the MDC. But the danger now is most of them, they still have that fear factor. You could vabude pachena. Kuenda parali awaoni asipa kuvota ndobonozolo randa MDC.
Okay, twenda kumakokova uko. Hakuna fear factor. Tokozani kupa takadai dzaona thousands and thousands. But thousands and thousands akaenda kwachinga dube manje. Imwe mse MDC sevanhu vanga vane mandra
kuchingane begika kwakusina dorere
asandapedza sevanhu vaingochema mune mandra mugabe masgo mugabe aenda vanhu vakuita thousands manje chingadhuka kamirira ZANU PF up. What do you make of this scenario?
I'm actually happy to hear that people are free to associate with any political party of their choice. I miss that one really, the 1 year Angosense are referring to the huge numbers.
Akatotaura kuti ZANU PF will win and I'm going to win this constituency.
Yeah. But what I know is Makokova tikati toko apo na jinga baba toko ibiza mskana pamane bora. I mean the Tokozani that I know. I don't see how she can possibly lose to Chingadue. I respect Chingadue. He's a nice old man. I like that old man. He's a very nice guy. I like him as a person. But in all honesty, I don't see how he can beat Tokozani Kube. I don't see that happening. In a free and fair election, I don't see that happening. I can bet you my bottom bond note. I don't have plenty bond notes, but I'm prepared to take that risk.
There are changing political scenarios.
I know.
I think we really to really read what is actually going. But no one is really campaigning. We really don't know the minds out there.
Yeah.
But the ZANU has also got a new lease of life. Blood transfusion.
I don't think George will get a new lease of life. Right now, some of these things really sensitive. We are getting people who ZANU are not isusu chero zvaita sei ati voteri this faction iri mupawo. I've been receiving messages. No, I don't even follow Jonathan Moyo. Okay, he's on Twitter. I know he follows me, and I think I follow him. But look, I'm not even taken too much aback by what Jonathan says. Well, to me, he's coming across as very angry, as very frustrated. I don't want to follow anybody angry. Don't want anybody rational. So all I'm saying is we are getting maneuvers from ZANU PF people, very, very senior ZANU PF people. Then sometimes people say, I'm serious. And this is senior.
Candidate presidential.
So say, to support you. Whoever may support you to support. You are not ZANU. They say ZANU and man is looking at ZANU in Europa. So which would be true. This is what they say.
This is a new dispensation.
ZANU
credible. ZANU observer.
Zana anochinja maitira
tuze ne Commonwealth vachatouya kuzoobserva.
Yeah, this is why with the situation on the ground, comrades, Angosense, comrade George, is different from what President ED says. Let me repeat this for the, 7th or 8th time. President Mnangagwa says very sweet little things. Tunoda little things. Tunoda free and fair elections. But out there, kumamisha
Hamusi kucampaign.
No, I'll give you an example, George. Vanonzi kana wabva kunoregister, uya voter registration slip.
Pane manamba
tinyore serial number yako.
Masungise vanhu. Handina mbonzwa kuti masungisa munhu.
If you listened on Friday, we were actually on radio, the other radio first. There were actually 2 women who actually made reports in, I think it's Guza, who phoned me. I referred them. They made a police report. So I'm giving concrete examples. Even in Matebele, this is Mat Guza out there, and this is happening. This is happening countrywide. Vanhu vari kumanikidzwa kunzi kana muchinge ma register uya ine chislip chia unoenda kwasabhuku wako wononyoresa ende kwasabhuku ko kuna local ZANU-PF person, and we have told our people to ignore that, but vanoti tavane number yako iwe mavhotero ochaitata akutomaziva.
Are we going to see muchiti vanhu venyu on the ground vasungise vanhu vari kudai?
Exactly,
because we cannot continue to report out murongoti mavhota state.
We are saying that on the ground. I've given an example here because on Friday a few days ago, and we are even saying vanhu vari kunyimwa government relief aid zvakaita sembeu ine rice dziri kupa vanhu mazuva. I've heard reports last week yevanhu vakanzi vakanyorwa palist in their village for food aid vachipiwa rice yokuchina here. Then when it was their turn kuti vachipiwa chikafu zvikanzi iwe ndio MDC tokuziva hatukupi. So those people, they phoned me and I said to them, go and make a report to the police, because that food aid ndeye government haisiri yebato rezanu kana MDC. So this we're telling our people kuti vazive marights avo, kuti kana muchipiwa relief yechikafu kana muchipiwa kana ingava mbeu kana muchipiwa ingava fertilizer, this is government aid. Haisiri aid iri kubva from a particular political party. But you know what it is like. This is a village. People are intimidated. Akanzi iwe MDC hatikupi chikafu. Vashoma vamwe vari brave vanozoita stand up for their rights. Some will just cower into submission. Vongoti tanyema hedu todzokera kumusha nezhara yedu iyoyo nokuti havana zvavangazviita.
Time is flying. Uncle Senzo, any final words to
nguva ndodzadyiana. We are still looking forward for the MDC Alliance or MDC-T manifesto, of which we expect you to come in so that we talk about it and see how many of your policies will have been stolen by then.
Oh yeah, now the danger is they love our policies so much. They'll end up taking all our policies. That's why I said President Mnangagwa is free to come and join the MDC. All
the best in Harare EAST if you manage to get by Tendai Biti. All the best, and you are saying you are a bad bond?
A Democrat to the bare bones. And who is not going to be bullied.
Thank you very much for coming through to Late Night Politics. We were grilling the MDC-T National Spokesperson Obert Gutu together with my colleague Sensom Pof, who is with Starfm. He's also a journalist. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade George. Thank you, Ango Senzo. Thank you, Zimbabwe, for listening. Sisonge.
Catch me again next week for another edition of Late Night Politics. But for tonight, it's good night and stay blessed, stay peaceful. We want peaceful elections in 2018. Munogona kukonana yenyu pamafungiro asi zvibokoma hazvibvumidzwi. Tinotenda zvikuru. Uncle Senzo, thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
Good night.
You've been listening to Late Night Politics on Star FM, taking an in-depth look at the Zimbabwean political scene. Join us again next week, Monday, same time on Star FM.